Hello and welcome to the latest episode on the channel, where today I'll be telling the story that inspired Celtic's new away kit. Celtic announced in the summer that they'd no longer continue with New Balance as their kit manufacturer and would instead switch to Adidas. With that brought much anticipation about what Celtic's new strips would look like, but it's the away strip that's caught the attention of the fans. Once it came out that the kit would be a light green colour, the internet suddenly filled up with talk of Love Street, which is something that all Celtic fans will understand, but the masses won't. The new kit's similar to one Celtic wore in the 1980s, and it's one that's particularly remembered for events that occurred at St Mirren's Love Street ground. Here's the story of what happened that day. The 3rd of May 1986 was supposed to be a special day for Heart of Midlothian. They needed a single point from their game against Dundee at Dens Park to win their fifth league title in their history, and their first one since 1960. Hearts hadn't lost a game since September 1985, and although Dundee still had a chance of European football, Hearts were expected to do enough to secure the title. Even if they did slip up on the final day, their closest rival Celtic would still have to win by enough to achieve a 4-goal swing and goal difference. Even the most die-hard of Celtic fans didn't think the boys could turn it around, but nonetheless they travelled to Paisley to watch their heroes take on St Mirren at Love Street in their thousands. The travelling Celtic fans were rewarded with an excellent performance as the Hoops took a 4-0 lead before half-time, thanks to goals from Brian McClare, Paul McStay and a brace from Maurice Johnson. However, it was all in vain as Hearts and Dundee were still goalless, meaning that regardless of how many Celtic scored, it would all be in vain as the jammed Hearts only needed a draw. Celtic added a 5th goal in the second half, courtesy of McClare, but the clock was ticking away with Hearts seemingly on their way to their first title in 26 years. Dundee were pressing for a winner, but Hearts were solid in defence, and when their backline was breached, the Dundee forwards found Hearts stopper Henry Smith in inspired form. Then it happened. A Dundee corner was headed into the path of substitute Albert Kidd, and he kept his head to shoot powerfully into the net, yards in front of the thousands of travelling Hearts fans with just 7 minutes to play. There wasn't a murmur from the Hearts fans as the Dundee fans celebrated, but it was nothing in comparison to the scenes at Love Street. Celtic were attacking down the right wing, and as a cross landed safely into the arms of the St Mirren goalkeeper, the ground erupted. There were no mobile phones, text messages or goal scoring alerts in those days, and instead it seemed that every Celtic fan in the stadium was listening to the radio as the news of Kidd's goal came through. With Hearts behind and Celtic comfortably ahead, the title was now going to Glasgow unless Hearts could equalise. They pushed bodies forward, but the Dundee defence were strong, and 4 minutes after Kidd broke the deadlock, he picked up the ball on the right wing, skipped past 2 men, played a 1-2 and then blasted the ball into the net to make absolutely sure that the league title would belong to Celtic. Minutes later, the final whistle blew at Love Street, and against all the odds, Celtic had won their 34th league title and Hearts had missed their golden opportunity. Since that day, the Scottish titles never left Glasgow, with Celtic and Rangers winning everything since. Hearts, they've never really came close to winning the title again. They finished second 3 times, but they were always quite a distance behind the eventual winners. Love Street for them is the one that got away with what happened at Dens Park, but as far as the name Love Street and the green kit that Celtic wore that day, it's always going to have a special place in the heart of all Celtic fans.